welcome to the I Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Dovston, and we are here with our weekly I Ching overview for this week, the 27th of May 2024, as we wrap up May and we dip our toe into June, which means, can you believe it? There's another monthly overview around the corner. So have you been working with the monthly overview from May? Number 1, Hexagram 1, the creative, new beginnings, new energy, new start, new cycle, the dragon emerging, all right, work to do of how we manage that, plus this unexpected developments of Hexagram 25. Have you experienced some surprises coming out of the woodwork? Positive and negative, it doesn't matter, but they've come to bring us an awareness of how we need to be dynamic and agile and free of unnecessary attachments and entanglements that we create with others and with our world. So if you need a reminder, perhaps hop on to May's overview to get the last little goodness of the I Ching out of May. Right, last week we had a locked hexagram. We had hexagram 60, limitation, the dam, having to be dam managers, okay, learning how to control the flow, put in place those controls, checklists, breaking things up into pieces, taking charge of being disciplined and focused as a means of preventing the overwhelm of the water going over the edge of the dam and causing damage and disaster and, of course, drama. So what came up for you? Where was your attention drawn into a particular area of your life where you were needing controls, boundaries, and good personal discipline, while also making sure not to overdo it, to be too harsh, too austere on other people, because ultimately that backfires on us when we least expect it. So if there was something that came up for you, as always, please do share a comment. Right. This week, the 27th of May, as we wrap up May, let us have a look at what this week's focus point is, right? We have hexagram 27, nourishment, the bird with the open mouth, top jaw, the male line at the top, bottom jaw, the male line at the bottom, all those open female lines, the image of a little bird, okay, with its mouth open, bah, 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 please feed me, please feed me. Okay, it's how we take nourishment in. And this hexagram comes to bring us 2 things to focus on this week. You might find that both facets become things that are important for you this week, or one particular one is dominant. Just stay open to it. We do have changing lines, so there is some variability and some focus points within nourishment that the I Ching is trying to dial us into this week. With this open mouth, okay, the first aspect is how we nourish ourselves, what we take in, where the path to nourishment is blocked, right? Where we are experiencing some blockages of flow, where the energy isn't moving, where words are stuck in the throat, caught in the throat, okay? This is about what we take in, what we digest, what we nourish ourselves with. And we have to pay attention to, there's physical nourishment, yes, that's what we eat, okay, that's sleeping, rest, self-care, but there's also emotional nourishment, mental nourishment, spiritual nourishment. Where are we starving? Well, here, we always say that saying when we come to this hexagram, where do we feel like we are starving? Okay, that gives us a clue where this blockage in the throat is happening, right? Where is the flow not allowing these jaws to move and for us to take in the thing that we need? Usually the obstruction relates to the choices that we make as to what we find nourishing. And our changing lines this week are going to challenge us on that as well. Second aspect is in how we use our mouths, our open mouths, to nourish others. This is a week where we are really being asked to pay attention to our words, right, and how those impact others. You might find that something biting comes out of your mouth in a moment of anger and frustration, maybe with someone you love, or maybe it's in a team environment, and you wish you could take those words back because you can see the crushing effect it has on someone else. This does not mean that we edit everything we say out of fear of hurting anyone, because sometimes the truth needs to come out in a productive and adult way. We need to talk about it. So this is not about not talking about it. It's about making sure the way we communicate, the way those words come out, that they're productive, they're useful. I love that saying. I'm sure you have seen it. A meme on Facebook or wherever on the socials, where you say to yourself, is it true? Is it kind? And is it helpful? Okay. And with this hexagram, that really is something that sits with me in terms of when we are challenged around what we're saying, we can choose to use our words as powerful tools to nourish other people. And sometimes that is about talking about the tough things, dealing with the elephant in the room, finding a productive way to release the energy that's stuck in the room, that's stuck in the conversation. Okay, using the power of the spoken word to encourage people, to create clarity for people, to communicate clearly, and to open up the channels of flow. Re-engage the flow. Work with others to create a synergy, a flow where there's open communication. A great week for us to think about what we're sharing, what we're communicating, what we're giving, and the impact of our words on other people, and changing the result we get by changing how we nourish others through words, through our speech, through our actions. So yes, 2 changing lines, the 3rd and the 4th position this week. They are both tricky positions because line 3 is about to cross the chasm between the bottom 3 lines or the bottom trigram and the top 3 lines, the top trigram. So there we have line 3. Tricky. You know, we've got a cross still. And then in line 4, we have just crossed. Okay, so there's still something that we are acclimatizing to. They aren't positions necessarily of stability and strength. Okay, so bear that in mind as we work with the lines. In the 3rd position, this line says, we're about to cross the chasm, but you might not get to cross the chasm if you keep on rejecting the sources of nourishment that are yours. Okay, so this line says, you know, if you reject the nourishment that's in front of you, that's come to help you, you will face difficulties for 10 years. Okay, that means a cycle of time, a longer cycle of time. There's a cycle of playing out, all right? That means we miss this moment and we keep on saying no to the things that are good to us. We miss the beat. So for you this week, let's think about and let's reflect on as we go through this week, what are the offers that are on the table? Okay. What are the opportunities for nourishment? Okay. Is this financial nourishment? Is there a deal on the table that you are tempted for some reason to say no to? Okay. What are you turning away from here this week? What are you saying no to? What's online that you've got some idea in your mind that this is not mine? Okay. This is beneath me. Okay. This is not part of my core focus. All right. Doesn't mean you do things that are not part of your core focus. But this week, this is what this line is asking us to pay attention to. We have something in front of us where we could say yes to the nourishment. This might be a new team member. This might be a new client. This might be a new opportunity or project, right? Something is here in front of us. And we run the risk of saying no to it because we're stuck in some very strange, weird cycle. And we have an idea of where our path is that's not aligned to the path that's ours. And this is what this line is trying to draw our attention to, is that the way closes because we don't see our way. We don't see that the choices we are making are leading us off our path that we are supposed to be on. And so doors start closing. You often find that when doors are just stuck, it's because we're trying to go down and through a door that's not ours. And the moment we realize that and we take a different path, suddenly, the energy opens up and starts to flow. This is the idea with this changing line. So let's see, what is on the table for us this week? What do we become aware of where we are saying no to nourishment? We should say yes. And no might also be an opportunity to go and do something fun, personal nourishment. A personal opportunity to go and do something that brings energy back in. All right. Are we feeling depleted? Okay. What can we do to bring the energy back in? And this changing line challenges us to look carefully at what is in front of us and where we are saying no to things that are actually good for us, that are actually ours to take. Right, and then we cross the chasm into line 4. Line 4, we have had before. This is the fierce tiger. So there's something we're needing to achieve. We're needing resources, nourishment, help, cash, connections, equipment, whatever it is. There's something that we need, all right? This week, we are tuning into something that we urgently need. And the way we get it is we become fierce like the tiger and we hunt it down. Okay, this is like serious male energy. The way we work with it, remember, this is a female line turning into a male line. So the way that we work with this changing line is we become more male, okay, and less female. We're going from a female line, that's transforming to a male line. So there's movement and energy to seize the moment, okay. And the tiger is here for us to seize. So we are being given permission with this line to be vigorous and assertive and fierce to hunt down what we need. The equipment, the people, the cash, the clients, the connections, the time off, whatever it is that we are needing to hunt down desperately for something important for us, we must be tiger and we must go for it. Isn't that wonderful? Full permission to tiger away and do our thing, okay? So we need to be fierce, not a passive week. This is not a passive week. This is an active week of hunting down what we need. So where do those two changing lines lead? How do they transform our week into our second hexagram, which I often call as a victory hexagram? If we focus on seeking victory through the second hexagram, we almost like lead ourselves from the first hexagram or the situation that we're in into something better through the energy of these changing lines into an outcome relating figure. And this is hexagram 30, Radiance. All right. This is a doubling of fire trigram on the top, fire trigram on the bottom. It is a doubling down in intensity of fire, of clarity, illumination, of clinging to what's really valuable, of shining brightly and building up the fire, building up our ability to see beyond where we saw before. This is not like hexagram 20 where we climb the tower for a bigger perspective up, right? This is about where we are, seeing in a much broader perspective, creating radiance, okay? We stoke up our fire, all right? We stoke up our bright spiritual life force, as it were, to shine brightly around the people that we are responsible for. We expand our light. And by doing so, we see beyond where we were. The image I always talk about with this hexagram is a whole lot of us sitting around a campfire. And if we have a small fire, our vision is in a narrow circle, right? We can only see where the light is. It's pitch dark at night, and outside the circle of light, you can't see anything. You can't picture what might be outside your peripheral vision. And with this hexagram, what it does is we stoke the fire, we make the bonfire bigger and bigger and bigger, which means we can make the circle bigger, we can have more around this fire, we can radiate, and we can see beyond our peripheral vision. We can see things that we didn't even know were there. Good things and challenging things. But our radiance expands our view, okay? And so this hexagram also ties to this idea of clinging to what's important, clinging to the fuel that's really important, all right? And what's really interesting about this combination of this hexagram with nourishment is about the right fuel. This hexagram, when we have the right wood as a fire, we burn brightly and brightly and for longer. When we have bad fuel, wet logs, we hiss and spit and we struggle. So we cling to things that are powerful and meaningful, okay? With a team, you always go back to what is the binding principle that binds us together, because the fire is like that focus point that we're all concentrated on sitting around the campfire. And if we are clear on our mandate, we're clear on our purpose and what's meaningful, we have wonderful, powerful logs, beautiful wood that the fire just absolutely loves and is sustainably burns and slowly irradiates beautiful energy to beyond the perimeter of your core team, your core family, your core inner circle. What a lovely hexagram for us to work with this week. It's our path to victory. We give with this hexagram. We shine brightly. We lean into what's in front of us. We open ourselves up. We energize ourselves. We open up our fire, okay, that we can connect and bring others into the circle. That is the path to victory this week. We think about our nourishment, what comes out our mouth, what goes in our mouth. We've got two challenging, changing lines. We be tiger, and we must say yes to the things that are actually ours to nourish ourselves and our process. And we must be very conscious of not rejecting the very thing that we need. It's going to be an awesome week. Can't wait to hear how you've worked with these hexagrams. Thank you so much. If this was valuable, a like, thumbs up would be great. Please join us on the regular by subscribing, hitting the bell icon to get the app notifications when new episodes arrive. Same with the podcast version. Hit the follow button. And I look forward to seeing you very soon for our monthly overview for June. Wow. And of course, then straight into our first weekly episode for the month of June. Thank you so much and have a wonderful last week of May.